Welcome everyone. In the last lecture, we calculated various network functions of possible series and parallel combination of single RLC elements, and we saw how we can identify and compare any network function with these possible network functions to synthesize the network. In this lecture, we will discuss the properties of network function and how we can use them to identify the possible elements of a network. Let's start. We will discuss the properties of LC emittance functions first. Here the emittance means we are talking about the properties of impedance as well as admittance functions. That is, we will be discussing the properties of LC impedance function and LC admittance functions. Let us see the first property. LC emittance function will be the ratio of even to odd polynomials or odd to even polynomials. That is, in the numerator we will be having even and in the denominator we will be having odd, or the reverse of it, that is, in the numerator we will be having odd, then in the denominator we will be having even functions. The second property is all the poles and zeros will lie on the imaginary axis. That is, if we try to calculate the poles and zeros of the given impedance function, then all the poles and zeros will be lying on the imaginary axis of the S-plane. Let us discuss the next property. All the poles and zeros will interlace each other. What it means, if I plot the poles and zeros, as the above property says, all the poles and zeros will be lying on the imaginary axis, and if I plot all the poles and zeros of the network function, they will be alternating or interlacing each other. That is, if I plot all the poles and zeros on this S-plane, say a zero lie here, then the next above to it will be a pole, and next below to it will be a pole, and similarly next below to this pole will be a zero, and next below this zero there will be a pole, and this pattern will continue as long as we plot all the poles and zeros. That is, all the poles and zeros will interlace or alternate each other on the j omega axis. Next property is highest and lowest degree of numerator and denominator must differ by one only. That is, it is compulsion here that there will be a difference between numerator and denominator degree, and that difference will be only 1, not 0, not greater than 1, it will be only 1. Next property is network function must have a pole or zero at the origin. As seen in this plot, I have a 0 here, so it is the compulsion that the network function must have either a 0 or a pole at the origin. This is the origin of this S-plane, so there must be either a pole lying or a 0 lying here. A 0 will exist at the origin. 0 at origin if lowest degree of numerator is less than lowest degree of denominator, and similarly a pole at origin will exist if lowest degree of numerator is greater than lowest degree of denominator. We will now discuss some numericals to identify whether the given net function is a LC emittance function or not. In the example number 1, we have this impedance function, and we are required to find out whether it is a LC emittance function or not. We will verify it by using these properties. Let us check the first property, which says the LC emittance function will be the ratio of even to odd polynomials or odd to even polynomials. Let us see here. In the numerator we have even parts, and in the denominator we have even parts. So it is the ratio of even to even polynomial, and hence this particular impedance function is not satisfying the property number 1. So we will say it is not a LC emittance function. Let us discuss the second example. We are provided a admittance function which is equal to 5s into s square plus 4 divided by s square plus 1 into s square plus 3. Let us check the first property. The first property says it should be a ratio of even to odd polynomials. Let us see. In the numerator, if I multiply it, I will get 5s cube plus 20s, and in the denominator I will get s raised to power 4 plus 4s square plus 3. If I see, I have all the odd part in the numerator and even part in the denominator, so it is satisfying the condition number 1, that is it is the ratio of even to odd. Now let us check the condition number 2, which says all the poles and zeros will lie on the imaginary axis. Let us plot them. Let us calculate their zeros. Substituting the numerator to be 0, I will get first 0 to be 0. Substituting this part to be 0, I will get the first 0 to be 0. Then substituting this to be 0, I will get another 2 zeros which will be lying at plus 2j, and say this is my second 0, and the third 0 will be lying at minus 2j. Similarly, from the denominator I'll get poles, 4 poles, which will be P1 will be equal to plus j, P2 will be equal to minus j, P3 will be equal to plus root 3j, and P4 will be equal to minus root 3j. So as you can see, it is satisfying the second property, which says all the poles and zeros will lie on the imaginary axis, and all the zeros and poles are lying on the imaginary axis because they have only imaginary part. Let us check the third condition, which says all the poles and zeros will interlace each other. To check the condition number 3, let us plot these poles and zeros on S-plane. Say we have this S-plane. The first 0 is lying at 0. So I will mark a circle here which says that a 0 is lying here. Then the second 0 is lying at plus 2j, and third 0 is lying at minus 2j. Say, let me say it is plus 2j. So there is a 0 at plus 2j, and there should be a 0 at minus 2j. Now similarly, the first pole is lying at plus j, so plus j would be here, somewhere here. So I will mark a cross here. This is the first plus j. Similarly, the second pole is lying at minus j, so it will be a cross here. That is, at minus j we have a pole, and plus j we have a pole. The third pole is lying at root 3j. Root 3j means it is 1.732j. So 1.732j means it will be lying below this. So there is another pole lying here which is 1.73J, and similarly another pole will be lying here which will be minus 1.73J. Because if we start from here, we will see that after this 0 there is a pole, and after this pole there is again a pole, where for interlacing condition after this pole after this 0 there should be a pole, and after this pole there should be a 0. Hence this network function is not satisfying the third condition, and we will say that it is not a LC impedance function. Let us discuss the third example, which says we have a ZS which is equal to 10 into S square plus 4 into S square plus 16 divided by S into S square plus 9. Now we will check the properties of LC impedance function. The first property would be it should be the ratio of even to odd polynomial. As we can see, it is an even part, even part, so this numerator will have even part. Also, if I multiply this with this, I'll get the odd terms, so I can say that it will be a ratio of even to odd polynomials. So the condition number 1 is verified. The condition number 2 says all the poles and zeros will lie on the imaginary axis, and if I try to calculate the zeros and poles, the first 0 will be lying at plus 2j and minus 2j, plus 2j and minus 2j, and the third and fourth 0 will be lying at plus 4j and minus 4j. As we can see, all the zeros are imaginary, hence they will be lying on imaginary axis. Similarly, if I try to calculate the poles, so the first pole will be at 0 from this, and the second pole will be at plus 3j, and the third pole will be at minus 3j. Now if I plot them, I will get I will see that all the poles and zeros are lying on the imaginary axis. Hence the condition number 2 is verified. And the condition number 3 says all the poles and zeros will interlace each other. Let us plot them on the j omega axis. Say we have plus 1j here, plus 2j here, plus 3j here, and plus 4j here. And similarly, I have minus 1j here, minus 2j here, minus 3j here, and minus 4j here. Now let us plot the poles and zeros. First pole is lying at 0, so I will put a cross at the origin. Now the next pole is lying at plus 3j, so I will at plus 3j I will put a cross. Similarly, at minus 3j I will put a cross. Now the first 0 is lying at plus 2j. Plus 2j is here, so I will put a circle here. The second 0 is lying at minus 2j, so I will put a circle here. The third pole is lying at plus 4j. Third 0 is lying at plus 4j, so I will put a circle here. Similarly, the fourth 0 is lying at minus 4j, so I will put a circle here. Now with this plotting, I can see after this 0 there is a pole, and after this pole there is a 0, and after this 0 there is a pole, after this 0 there is a 0, after this 0 there is a pole, and after this pole there is a 0. So I can say all the poles and zeros are interlacing each other, hence it is satisfying the condition number 3 also. Let us check the condition number 4. The condition number 4 says the highest and lowest degree of numerator and denominator must differ by 1. In the numerator, the highest degree would be 4 and the lowest degree would be 0. So the highest degree is 4 and the lowest degree is 0 in the numerator, and in the denominator the highest degree is 3 and the lowest degree will be 1. So with this we can see the highest degree is differing by 1, and as well as the lowest degree is differing by 1. So we will say the condition number 4 is also verified. The condition number 5 says network function must have a pole or 0 at the origin. Let us recheck the plot, and from the plot we can say there is a pole at the origin. Hence the condition number 5 is also verified, and as all the conditions are verified, we will say the given network function is a LC emittance function. This is how we can identify any network function to be a LC emittance function. And it means if I try to realize this or synthesize this, it will be a possible combination of L and C only. In the same way, we will discuss the properties of RC emittance function and RL emittance function. Till then, thank you so much for listening.